Tapping off the main feeder lugs of a panel board is generally prohibited by code. National Electrical Code Section 408.16 specifically prohibits tapping off the main feeder lugs of a panel board. This is because tapping off the main feeder lugs can create a safety hazard, potentially overloading the main breaker and increasing the risk of a fire. Several alternative solutions can achieve the desired outcome safely and in compliance with electrical codes. Firstly, consider installing a sub-panel. A separate 100 amp sub-panel can be installed next to the existing 480 volts panel. The sub-panel would be fed from the main feeder lugs of the 480 volts panel. A 125 amp breaker could then be installed in the sub-panel to feed the disconnect. Secondly, consider using a rear feed panel. A specific rear feed panel can be installed, potentially a General Electric model with a 125 amp capacity. This panel would also be fed from the main feeder lugs of the existing 480 volts panel. The disconnect could then be directly connected to the panel without the need for an additional breaker. The distance between the panel and the disconnect is also a factor to consider. A distance of 6 feet from the panel to the disconnect is generally acceptable. National Electrical Code Section 408.14c typically allows for up to 25 feet of cable between the panel and the disconnect, though it's crucial to verify this with the specific local codes. To ensure the installation meets all applicable electrical codes, it must pass inspection. The inspector will check several key aspects, including proper wire sizing, termination methods, and grounding practices. Compliance with the code-compliant solutions outlined earlier, such as the sub-panel or rear feed panel, will also be verified. Specific considerations for wire sizing involve calculating the appropriate conductor size based on the load and ampacity requirements. The conductors must be rated to handle the intended current without overheating. Proper termination involves ensuring that all connections are made securely and with appropriate connectors. This helps prevent loose connections, which can cause arcing and overheating. Grounding is a critical safety measure that provides a path for fault current to flow back to the source, tripping the breaker and preventing electrical shock hazards. The grounding system must be properly installed and connected to all metal enclosures and equipment. When installing a sub-panel, several factors should be considered. Firstly, the sub-panel must be sized appropriately for the anticipated load. This means selecting a panel with enough breaker spaces and ampacity to accommodate all of the circuits that will be connected to it. Secondly, the sub-panel must be properly grounded. This typically involves connecting a grounding electrode conductor from the sub-panel to a grounding electrode, such as a ground rod or the building's metal water pipe. Thirdly, the sub-panel must be installed in a location that is accessible and protected from physical damage. This may involve installing the sub-panel in a cabinet or enclosure. When using a rear feed panel, also consider certain factors. Firstly, ensure that the rear feed panel is compatible with the existing panel board. This means verifying that the rear feed panel has the same voltage and current ratings as the existing panel board. Secondly, make sure that the rear feed panel is properly installed and connected to the existing panel board. This typically involves connecting the rear feed panel to the main lugs of the existing panel board. Thirdly, ensure the rear feed panel is also properly grounded. This may involve connecting a grounding electrode conductor from the rear feed panel to a grounding electrode, such as a ground rod or the building's metal water pipe. Electrical codes such as the National Electrical Code specify requirements for conductor ampacity, overcurrent protection, and grounding. Section 310.15 of the NEC covers ampacity calculations for conductors. The ampacity of a conductor is the maximum current, in amps, that it can carry continuously under specified conditions of use without exceeding its temperature rating. Several factors affect the ampacity of a conductor, including the conductor size, the conductor material, the insulation type, the ambient temperature, and the number of conductors in a raceway or cable. Overcurrent protection is provided by fuses and circuit breakers. These devices are designed to protect conductors and equipment from overloads and short circuits. The size of the overcurrent protection device must be matched to the ampacity of the conductor it is protecting. National Electrical Code Section 240.4 provides requirements for overcurrent protection. Grounding is the process of connecting electrical equipment and systems to the earth. This provides a path for fault current to flow back to the source, tripping the overcurrent protection device and preventing electrical shock hazards. National Electrical Code Sections 250.4 and 250.6 provide requirements for grounding electrical systems and equipment. When working with electrical systems, always follow safe work practices. Firstly, always to energize the circuit before working on it. Use a qualified electrician to perform any electrical work. Secondly, wear appropriate personal protective equipment, such as safety glasses and gloves. Thirdly, use insulated tools. Fourthly, never work alone. Fifthly, if you are not comfortable working on electrical systems, call a qualified electrician. Always consult the latest edition of the National Electrical Code and any applicable local codes for specific requirements. Local codes may vary from the NEC, so it is important to check with the local authority having jurisdiction to ensure compliance. Careful planning, adherence to code requirements, and safe work practices are essential for a safe and compliant electrical installation. Remember that electrical work can be dangerous, and it is always best to consult with a qualified electrician if you are not comfortable performing the work yourself. The information provided here is for general guidance only and should not be considered a substitute for professional electrical advice. Always consult with a licensed electrician for specific electrical design and installation requirements.